Hello everyone. Today I came up with new inspirational short stories that I've been reading and thought were fantastic and that everyone would love. Short, inspirational stories are compelling reads. These stories are simple to understand and always conclude with a moral lesson. It's unclear whether they're actual stories or not, as many of them are legends said to be hundreds of years old. However, the stories I'm about to tell are so compelling and inspiring that many of them really get you thinking and, at times, leave you speechless. Please enjoy and get inspired, as I will pass you through one by one in 2 consecutive parts. At the end of each story, I have described the moral of the story in a short description. Let me start with the last, but not the list of my selected short stories. Number 10. The Elephant Rope, Wrong Belief. A gentleman was walking through an elephant camp when he noticed that the elephants were not caged or chained. All that kept them from fleeing the camp was a short length of rope attached to one of their legs. As the man looked at the elephants, he couldn't understand why they didn't just break the rope and escape the camp. They could have easily done so, but they did not even attempt. Curious and eager to learn the truth, he questioned a nearby trainer why the elephants were simply standing there and never attempted to flee. The trainer replied, "When they are very young and considerably smaller, we bind them with the same size rope, which is adequate at that age. They are raised to believe that they cannot break free. They feel the rope can still hold them. Therefore, they never attempt to break free." The elephants were only unable to break free and escape from the camp because they had grown to believe that it was impossible. The moral of the story is to believe that you can achieve your goals, no matter what obstacles may arise. The most critical step towards success is believing you can do it. Number 9. Thinking outside the box, creative thinking. In a little Italian village hundreds of years ago, a small company owner owed a substantial sum of money to a loan shark. The loan shark was a very old, unattractive-looking man who just happened to like the business owner's daughter. He decided to offer the businessman a proposal that would entirely eliminate the debt he owed him. However, the catch was that we would only forgive the loan if he married the businessman's daughter. This idea was welcomed with a look of disdain. The loan shark stated that he would place 2 stones in a bag, one white and one black. The daughter would then have to reach into the bag and take out a rock. If it was black, the debt would be forgiven, but the loan shark would marry her. If it was white, the debt would likewise be forgiven, but the daughter would not be forced to marry the loan shark. Standing on a pebble-strewn path in the businessman's lawn, the loan shark stooped over to pick up 2 pebbles. While Dad was picking them up, the daughter observed that he had picked up 2 black stones and placed them in the bag. He then instructed his daughter to reach into the bag and select one. The daughter naturally had 3 options as to what she could have done. 1. Refuse to remove a pebble from the bag. 2. Expose the loan shark's cheating behavior. 3. Pick a black stone from the bag and make a sacrifice for her father's freedom. She drew a stone from the bag and accidentally dropped it among the other pebbles. She said to the loan shark, "How clumsy of me. Never mind. If you look in the bag for the one that's left, you'll be able to determine which stone I chose." The pebble left in the bag is obviously black, and because the loan shark did not want to be discovered, he had to pretend that the pebble dropped by the daughter was white in order to clear her father's debts. The moral of the story is to look outside the box and not limit your options when facing a difficult scenario. The group of frogs. Encouragement. A bunch of frogs was walking through the woods when 2 of them slipped into a earth. The 2 frogs chose to ignore what the others were saying and attempted to jump out of the pit. 2 frogs fell into a deep pit while walking through the woods with a bunch of others. When the other frogs saw how deep the pit was, they told the 2 that there was no hope for them. However, the 2 frogs chose to ignore what the others were saying and attempted to jump out of the hole. A bunch of frogs was walking through the woods when 2 of them slipped into a earth. The 2 frogs chose to ignore what the others were saying and attempted to jump out of the pit. Despite their attempts, the frogs at the top of the hole insisted that they simply give up, that they would never get out. Eventually, one of the frogs listened to what the others were saying and gave up, falling to his death. The second frog jumped as hard as he could. Again, the crowd of frogs cried at him to stop suffering and die. He jumped even harder and eventually got it out. When he came out, the other frogs asked, "Did you not hear us?" The frog told them that he was deaf. He assumed they had been encouraging him the entire time. The moral of the story is that one's words can significantly impact the lives of others. Think carefully what you're going to say before you say it. It might simply be the difference between life and death. Number 7. A pound of butter honesty. A farmer sold 1 pound of butter to a baker. One day, the baker decided to weigh the butter to determine if he was getting the correct amount, which he was not. He sued the farmer because he was upset about this. The court inquired about the farmer's method of weighing the butter. The farmer responded, "Honor, I am unsophisticated. I don't have a precise measurement, but I do have a scale." The court inquired, "Then how do you weigh the butter?" The farmer responded, "Your Honor, I used to buy a pound loaf of bread from the baker long before he started buying butter from me. Every day when the baker comes the bread, I weigh it and give him the same weight of butter. If anyone should be criticized, it is the baker." The moral of the narrative is that in life, you receive what you give. Do not try to deceive others. Number 6. The obstacle in our path, opportunity. In ancient times, a king had a boulder placed on a route. He then hid and waited to see if anyone moved the boulder out of the way. Some of the king's wealthiest merchants and courtiers stopped there and walked around it. Many people loudly chastised the king for failing to maintain the roadways clear, but none of them did anything to remove the stone. A peasant then arrived, bearing a load of veggies. When the peasant approached the boulder, he laid down his burden and attempted to push it out of the road. After much pushing and straining, he eventually succeeded. When the peasant returned to pick up his veggies, he discovered a pocketbook laying in the path where the boulder had been. The purse included numerous gold pieces as well as a note from the king stating that the gold was intended for the person who removed the boulder from the path. The moral of the story is that every hurdle in life provides an opportunity to improve our circumstances. While some moan, others create possibilities through kindness, charity, and hard work. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to this channel and follow it for more inspirational things like this.